Victoria Hughes was a lavatory attendant who worked at the Stoke Road public toilets in Bristol from 1929 to 1962. When her husband returned from the war, she became the main breadwinner for the family, and she later became the first of her profession to have an entry in the Oxford Dictionary of National Biography, having published her memoirs as The Lady's Mile. The book shocked some at the time, but has since become a valued source of local history. Bristol was booming in the beginning of the 1920s, with strong industries such as cotton, chocolate, tobacco and shipbuilding. Also, since the UK relied heavily on global trade, Bristol was fortunate to home one of the largest ports in the country. Following the 1929 Wall Street crash, there was a global lack of certainty which led to a huge fall in confidence and trade. In this period of economic depression, Britain saw a fall in world trade by a half and the output of heavy industries fell by a third. Employment soon plunged in nearly all sectors, and at its worst, in the summer of 1932, registered unemployed numbered 3.5 million, and many more had only part-time employment.
Jobs in Britain were very scarce at the start of the 1930s. Seeing as Bristol was a port city and Britain's world trade at the time had fallen by half, people in Bristol found it very hard to find jobs. Victoria herself struggled to find a job, and the only one that she could find was as a lavatory attendant of the public toilets on Durden Down. It turned out that the toilets were frequently used by prostitutes that were working on the Ladies' Mile, a road which runs through the Downs. Whilst working at the toilets, Victoria provided tea, sympathy and advice to these women.
A combination of institutions suffered a big slump in 1929. As UK output fell, so did demand for labour. Weak demand for labour, coupled with insufficient unemployment benefits, meant people were at risk of absolute poverty. This in turn may have resulted in people turning to jobs they wouldn't necessarily do, such as Victoria working as a lavatory attendant, or moreover, people engaging in criminal activity, such as prostitution, as a way to make ends meet.
Capitalism is an economic system in which private property, markets and firms play an important role characterized by a particular combination of institutions. An economic system is a way of organizing the production and distribution of goods and services in an entire economy. The kinds of firms that make up a capitalist economy include banks, industrial establishments, restaurants, internet service providers, as well as supermarkets. The employers are the demand side of the labor market. In periods such as 1929, where there was a great recession, employers had to fire their workers and so unemployment rates would rise. Recession causes unemployment as the firms are unable to demand such a high labor and so they fire their workers. In this case, it was a consequence of 11% increase in unemployment rates.